Friday night, I want a Chippy Tea. Chippy Tea, Chippy Tea, I want a Chippy Tea. Oh, you keep giving me posh, no, she don't agree with me. I don't want lobster thermidor with raspberry coulis. It's Friday night, I'm within me rights, I want a Chippy Tea.
De-stress.
Woosah. Rub your little ears. Woosah.
Little ears, have you seen them?
Let's look at you with
31?
17 layers on.
It's freezing. It'll be horrible. Not like you. I bet it's got a tan, hasn't there?
No. You don't get a tan in room.
They've not been out yet.
I wonder if I can get some lighting on here. Any better?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh,
Brings out the colour in your eyes, that.
cheers, sweetheart.
Yep.
So, here we go. Welcome to episode number 31 of Chippy Tea Podcast. What is the Chippy Tea Podcast? It is your chance to eavesdrop, to have a good nosy, to listen in on a weekly catch-up between me, Tony P, from Palm Print, and
Danny D from the Pursuit Print Co.
as we connect by video call to discuss what we've been doing this week, what our week's been like. There's a chance there'll be some screen print in there, but there's no guarantee. We are both screen printers, so we might overlap somewhere. But it's your chance to listen in and to basically have a good nosy on what we've been doing this week. So, in true Chippy Tea podcast fashion, when I see that little smirk on Danny's face and that fear in his eyes, where he says, "Oh my God, he's going to throw it to me first again." Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Over to you, Danny. What have you been doing this week? What's the highlight of your week? We last spoke exactly a week ago, so
feels like it
is. I know, yeah, it does seem like a long time. But what have you been doing? What's been on that press, and what's been in that little spinny mind of yours?
Well, what's been on press? I'm prepared. I've got a show and tell.
Yeah, check you out.
The show and tell. I mean, I'll show you first. I love it. It's not like super technically mind blowing. There's nothing technically impressive about it.
I saw this and I thought yellow were out of edge, but I'm not going to be that man.
They can shite. Anyway, it's nothing technically outstanding.
Isn't that awful? Honestly, isn't that awful when somebody does that? Can you imagine my life? I'm at print shows, and the only people that are there are printers. And it's not just printers, it's the knobheads. And they all want to go, it's out of edge, that. Why don't you do one?
Yeah. Well, funnily enough, I live by sort of the Instagram, the stuff I post on Instagram. I realised not too long ago that I was limiting what I was posting because I would only post stuff that I thought would impress other printers. Now,
printers, not customers.
No, isn't that a strange thing?
That is weird, yeah.
Going out of my way, but it was almost a subconscious block where I was almost fearful of being judged. Now, what does it matter? Because your customer can't see these things.
No.
So really, you're better to be more frequent. And I mean, if you do a single colour screen print, it's very rare I would post that because it's not technically impressive. Nobody cares. Like, you're not impressed, and you know what I mean? But a customer don't know that. A customer don't care less, does it?
No, and I've posted single colour stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. I've posted single colour stuff because, sometimes a single colour job, if it's right, so like sometimes white on a navy or navy on yellow, it just looks right. And if the art's good, then nobody's counting the colours or looking at the intricacy. They're all looking at the T-shirt. Does it work as a T-shirt?
Yeah.
And I've posted single colour stuff before loads because I think it's great if it works.
Yeah, I think I've just got this little subconscious blockage that just stops me doing it. But in the same breath, this particular print, it's nothing technically impressive about it, really. Apart from the feel and the registration. And
what's the feel like?
I really wish there was a way that if you're watching, you could just go, oh, let me just feel that. If I put this right next to 100% Aquaflex or water-based, you would not know. And I said this other week, and I said you'd probably tell. I'm convinced you couldn't tell me. I put two and two together, you wouldn't be able to pick it. And I also think if I put this in front of 100 customers, randomly picked, I put this shirt and I put 100% water-based, I reckon more would pick that. That's how confident and how cocky I am about it. I'm just really pleased with.
So technically then, did you flash every colour? Yeah,
I did. Yeah.
So this is the main difference. This is the
on an auto,
killer between an auto print and a manual print. It's still the same level of skill. You still had to prepare the art the same way. You still had to make the same mesh choices. If you got those wrong, I think your operating window was quite large.
Oh, yeah,
whereas on an auto, the operating window is getting smaller and smaller and smaller because we can't afford to get one of those parameters wrong. Then when we're formulating the ink, so you're actually formulating every colour. So you're very close to, I've been here too long, I'm talking a bit posh, aren't I? I can hear it in my own voice. I need some Yorkshire. You're very close to being a water-based printer anyway.
Yeah,
because they formulate their own colours. They make colours stronger or weaker according to what the design is and what they're printing onto and what mesh is going to be and what the colour order is and where their flash is going to be. And you take your plastisol colours, you add your little flipping sweet magic to it, and which obviously you need to patent and put into one bottle so that people can just drop that in. Are you watching Avian?
I'm not telling Avian my formula.
Well, there you go. You see.
Well, so, Manuel, they've got enough money to pay me. I'll take a few.
So, you're still doing a lot of work. It's not straight out the pot.
No.
To get that feel, and water-based printers have to do that as well. They've got to formulate the ink. They've got to do something special. They've got to use their skill to be able to predict what it's going to be.
Nothing just comes straight out of the pot, apart from white.
So I think plastisol printers in big shops is straight out the tub. I'm the opposite to you. I think if they could do something to it, they would.
We clash on this, don't we?
Yeah, because it's your skill, and you're flashing every colour. Yeah,
true. On an auto,
If after the curable reducer and the little bit of magic that you put into it, if I then pick those colours off wet, I lose opacity.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So because you're flashing after every colour, you're not losing opacity. Whereas if I did what you did and stuck it onto an auto and went wet on wet, that little bit of rip-off, and I'm doing everything in my skill set to prevent that rip-off, which is mesh selection. It's got to be 230, got to be 90s.
Yeah.
230s.
230s, you are in America.
Yeah. It's got to be 90s. The mesh count, the blades have got to be progressive, so I can start hard, but I've got to finish soft, just like in life. So I've got to do that. And if I get one of those wrong, especially with my pressures and my angles as well, then it's going to rip off. And it's going to look naff. And when your ink rips off, you've already lost, let's say, only 10% of the opacity. That's all.
Yeah.
So if I rip off another 10%, now it's see-through.
It's an issue, yeah.
What was your word from last week? Now it's translucent. Translucent, see?
I've got it on here on the sticky note on my monitor.
Have you?
Oh, don't forget. No, don't be stupid. Right, then, what Hawaiian pop are you supping? Because we're not on beers these days, are we? So what are you having? Hawaiian. I thought it said Jamaican. I'm saying Hawaiian, and I'm
passion
pop. Passion orange.
Passion orange. Hawaiian passion orange.
I'm having 7-Up. 7-Up. Sugar free.
I'm sure there's a Snow White joke around there. Oh, and I forgot. I forgot what it was, but I don't think it's broadcastable.
So, it's a bit of an issue, this automatic thing then, isn't it? Because I've developed this, and I'll tell you why it is an issue. I'm a little bit proud of what I've developed and my print finishes. And I've had this sort of realisation that, I am proud of it, and I should sell it. It should be one of my selling points.
This is one of your USPs. One of your USPs is and we can label it quite easily as retail quality or retail feel.
Yeah.
So that, we're sort of like we're going fashion brand and we're going promo brand, and then we've got retail. Yeah. So the retail, you produce stuff that is retail quality.
Yeah, definitely.
So you would find it in the high street. It'd be interesting. I'll tell you what would be interesting. Next time you've got a job on like that, multicolour, so 2 or 3 colours, and you're doing it your way.
Yeah.
Get me an old shirt and print it without flashing between the colours.
All right.
And then hold the 2 up for us on show and tell.
That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Actually,
and let's see how much we lose. This will help you when you buy your auto.
Yeah.
To see how far you can go wet on wet without ripping off.
Well, I've just spent. I mean, I've done plenty of printing, but in between printing, I've spent most of this week working on my website, basically selling that USP, that touch feel, selling that
retail quality. Yeah.
And as we was having this conversation that we've just been talking about the autos, it's made me think, shit, when I get an auto, am I going to be able to keep up? Yeah, will I lose that? There's revolver mode, right?
I'm impressed.
Well, I do listen to you.
I'm impressed.
But I guess when you get an auto, if you're having to resort to using revolver mode, you're kind of defeating the purpose. Because you're going to slow it down significantly, aren't you?
So, yeah, and this is... So I'm guilty of this. It's called multi-print, multi-print, if you're over here, revolver mode, or programmable mode. Most of the presses have this.
Yeah.
So I teach it's bad. I'm guilty. Hands up. I say it's bad. If you've got to do revolver mode, something's wrong. You've made an error somewhere.
Yeah.
Now, let's say one of the colours in your sequence is in the wrong place or is on the wrong mesh.
Yeah.
To change it, what you should do is you should reset the job. Reset the screens, move the colour order around, which means taking out all the other screens, re-registering everything, putting it back in. And you should remake the screen if it's on a wrong mesh. Absolutely. That's the solution. 100%.
Yeah.
Now, if it's only 60 shirts, activating revolver mode, right, bear in mind, this thing prints 100 shirts in 6 minutes. 6 minutes. So, my solution is for it to make 200 prints. That's cost me 6 minutes, another 6.
Fucking 6 minutes.
So, out of 12, 6 was because I made a mistake. Now, you can't honestly tell me you could have reset 4 colours in sequence inside 6 minutes. So that solution, although it's a palm print cheat, that solution is the most efficient use of your time.
Yeah.
Whether you think it's cheating or not, whether it's a cop-out, whether it's not what you should do, doesn't matter, because we're not selling T-shirts. What we're selling? We're selling time.
Yeah.
Because the longer something takes to do, the more expensive it is.
Yeah, well, I guess you as a consultant would teach somebody if there's a mesh error or there's a screen out of position, your job is to teach them that they should swap it round, etc., etc., etc. But then it's up to the customer in the heat of the moment to take that knowledge. And if it's easy to just run it on revolver mode for the sake of 10 minutes and just get the job done, but then learn for the next job.
Yeah.
So when I get an auto, I'm going to learn that over the years. It's not going to be instant. I'm going to make those mistakes. I'm probably going to run revolver mode for, I don't know, to fix problems that I've done because I've not got that experience yet. But over time, you'll use it less and less, I guess.
Yeah, my issue with revolver mode or multi-print mode is when it becomes the norm, the standard. Yeah. So I have been in some shops where a job will go around 3 times because they've only got one flash on the machine and they're doing a 4-colour job. And so they've come from manual and got straight to auto. And so therefore, that's all they've ever known, is to never print wet on wet. Printing wet on wet. I think printing wet on wet is a real skill. And it's a skill you have to master. It's something you have to get used to if you want to produce high quantity numbers.
Yeah.
If you want to stay on the crafty, quality, high quality end, then you don't have to get used to it. And you can keep flashing every colour. But you've got to make sure that we go back to, I know this is something you want to cover, and we will cover it in depth. You've got to look at, okay, I can produce 1,000 and sell them for £1. Okay, and I get £1,000 for my day's work.
Yeah.
Or I can produce 100 expertly and sell them for £10 because I produced them expertly. Yeah. And I still made me £1,000. I still worked all day. They still took the same day to produce, and they still brought the same revenue in.
Yeah.
And we have to sort of like price accordingly. If you're selling a real high quality product, then there's no way you price it as a promo product.
No, absolutely not.
And you have to get that balance right. And so if I worked for people that sell designer gear, so like Paul Smith, produced in just outside Leicester, and they're not interested in how many pieces a day we can do. It's not on their radar. What they're interested in, that every piece is absolutely goddamn perfect.
Yeah.
And if it's got to go around 10 times, it goes around 10 times. It doesn't matter because they're getting 60 to 65 quid for a print. Yeah. So it just doesn't matter. So it's all about that end price point of where you want to be. What's your USP? What makes you different? What are you trading on? If you just want hairy ass builders limited on back of a hi-viz, then you are what you're doing. If you've got a piece of art like you had there, I don't know who that customer is that you're printing for.
It's actually fun story. It's a motorcycle shop in Saudi Arabia. Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. I've been working for them for years.
How do you find them?
Well, they found me on eBay about maybe 8 years ago. So this is when I first got started printing. The beginning of Flipping Sweet. I was doing a lot of bootleg stuff. I just bought. Is
this your metallic era?
It was sort of coming towards the end of metallic era, and I just got my first. I actually got what I got was it a Riley Hopkins silver press from Dave Roper, and the press got there. I can't remember what it was. I think it was like 4 colours, 2 stations. I think it was, and it turned up and the parts didn't even fit together. So I sent that back, and then Dave said, "Well, look, we've got this 6-colour, 6-station workhorse sat here. You can have that instead if you want." I mean, it cost me more money, but so I took that on anyway. So I took that, and it had wooden pallets, and it was all bubbled and some pallets were warped. But like it was perfect working order, apparently. But
hi, Dave.
I'm only kidding, Dave. Bless you, I'm only kidding. Anyway, I've got a bit sidetracked on my story, haven't I? So you were one of the first customers. So the screen printing side of things, offering custom work, I would offer packages on eBay and Amazon and say, I don't know, 20 T-shirts, 1 colour, for a couple £100, whatever it was. And I just did it through eBay and Amazon.
Did that work
really well back then? Well back then. Yeah. Something that nowadays doesn't seem as effective because I've gone back to it and give it a go. But unless you're in a particular market, workwear market, it'll work. I bet you any money that would work as a workwear. If you were doing hi-viz, although it is quite oversaturated, so if you want to do hi-viz for about 3p each, you could probably put some packages on eBay. Yeah,
sure. I were doing hi-viz. Must be close to 15 years ago now, and that's where I started to really look at price points and pieces per hour, not pieces per hour, jobs per hour. So the question I got asked was, can we do 30 pieces? Is it worth setting up the job and trying to sell hi-viz in 30-piece single colour runs? And what we worked out was, I think at the time, the average selling price for a hi-viz were around about the 10 quid mark. But you could buy them for like 60p.
Yeah, super cheap.
And if you bought bulk, that would come down even further. Yeah. So the boss I had at the time bought bulk. He bought a 40-foot container full of hi-viz. So then the question was, how do we decorate them? So is it economical to put them on the press? Because we were thinking about manual printing like you. Because obviously you don't want to put a hi-viz on a fully automatic machine that prints 10 colours. Oh, yeah, so we looked and went, okay, let me see. Let's do some timing on this. And this is where I got my one job every 15 minutes. So one job every 15 minutes, broke it down to, okay, what are my costs for 15 minutes?
Yeah.
So now I know that one job takes 15 minutes. That's taking the screen, putting it in, putting the squeegees in, taking the test print, lining it up, printing 30, taking the squeegees out, taking the screen out, washing it, getting on to the next one. Plus we had
30 in 15 minutes on a manual?
No, on an auto.
Oh, right, sorry, I'm with you now.
So this is when we worked out. Well, this is when we worked out that the 30 pieces, the physically pulling the ink through the holes.
Yes,
that little bit was such a small part of the process. It almost wasn't worth timing. What was worth timing was all the crap that went before it and all the crap that went after. Because people forget, you've got to clean these bleeding things down. Yeah. So we went worst case scenario. I said, okay, 4 jobs. Each one's a different colour. How many can we do? And we worked out that, an acceptable one was 4 jobs an hour. So this 40-foot container full of hi-viz we could sell at such a ridiculous price because it only worked with the numbers. It wouldn't work with one job a day.
No. Oh.
It would only work if I filled the day full of hi-viz jobs.
Yeah.
So we waited until we got 4 times 8, 24 jobs of hi-viz. Then we put them into colour groups, all those with a black print, all those with a red print, all those with a navy print, all those with a green print. We set a station up with each colour so we didn't have to wash. Then we did all the black, then we did all the red, then we did all the navy. We top and tailed them on the screen so we just flipped them around. We got the process set so we didn't have to measure everything, we knew where everything was. I even got to the point where I put a small piece of masking tape where the text would go.
Yeah.
And instead of cleaning, I would rip it off.
All right.
So we've got double masking tape on. And in between jobs, I'd rip one off.
Yeah, I see what you mean, yeah.
And then rip the other off, where I got a thing. And then we realised that, well, you know what, it's probably better off not putting masking tape on because I can clean that off with a bit of white spirit.
Yeah,
quicker than I can re-put it down. Because it's just more cleaning that stripe.
Yeah.
I don't have to clean the whole palette, I only have to clean that stripe where the text is.
Yeah.
So all these little things helped us get to like 6 and 8 jobs an hour. So now I'm winning. Now, that didn't mean we promised more or we brought the price down. It meant that the company won. The base standard was still 4, but I could get 6 and 8 an hour by cleverly planning the jobs.
Yeah.
I don't know
project management. I don't know.
That was a proper tangent.
It would be. What were you talking about?
Saudi Arabia, I think.
Oh, yeah, Saudi Arabia. Yeah, Saudi Arabia one of my first customers, actually. Actually, I would probably say, potentially, they're my longest standing customer, possibly.
Yeah. Do you post them out there?
No, I post them to, I mean, it's a company. You post it to a company in the UK and then they send it internationally for you, sort of forward it on. Which is great because it makes no difference. It's just printing for somebody in the UK as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What's that true? So yeah, very nice. So Tony, where are you?
Let me see if I can show you where I am.
Oh, is it coming up? The sun?
I've got no idea whether this will work or not. So if it goes off, you can't blame me.
Oh well.
It's not sunny. It's a bit cloudy.
You know, all that way and it's not even sunny. Look at that. It's like something out of a Tom Cruise film.
Yes, I'm
Actual palm trees.
Actual palm trees. Palm printing palm trees.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah.
How ironic.
So, I'm actually in Hawaii.
Have you bumped into Dog Bounty Hunter?
Does he live here?
I think so. I think he's Hawaiian, as far as I know.
That might be a young reference that I don't get.
No, yeah.
Probably, is it Tom Selleck, Magnum PI? I'm sure he were from around here as well.
See, we're both just showing our age, because I know Dog Bounty Hunter is, but I don't know who the fuck's Tom Selleck is.
Most famous tash in Hollywood.
Yeah, mate.
Magnum PI. I'm sure that was. I'm sure he did Hawaiian. That might be wrong. Might have just been
probably
Hawaii 5-0, definitely.
So you're on holiday. That's very.
This is actually
very
vacation.
noble of you to be on here. On holiday.
Yeah, I'm on holiday. It's just an opportunity, really. Where I was in California, and California to Hawaii is nowhere near as harsh as Brid to Hawaii. So
No.
Brid to Hawaii would be like an 18-hour flight.
Wow.
And, you serious expense as well.
Yeah.
To do it this way, being from Yorkshire, don't like spending money. This was the most economical option because I was already in LA. So
yeah. Why not?
Little hop across. It's still 6 hours flight from California to Hawaii.
What's the longest flight you've ever been on?
See, I'm trying to remember. I know I went to China, but I'm sure I stopped somewhere for fuel.
Well, a lot of them, like if you go to Australia, you tend to stop in like Dubai or something, don't you? Yeah.
I think I stopped in Dubai, but I can't remember. And it's only like about 4 years ago. I don't think I sat on the plane for more than 12 hours. So this flight down here to California were 12 hours dead straight. That's a long flight. Yeah, that's a long flight. But you've got TV and Wi-Fi and entertainment and stuff. So.
It's not that, it's my legs. My legs would be crippled and be like, I have to move. I'm pretty sure I've got restless leg syndrome. I have to move and stuff. So,
what, like your hero?
Drive me mad. My hero.
Horner's got that, hasn't he? Karen Horner.
Oh, has he?
He's got restless leg syndrome.
Who is he? Look. He's got his F1 head on. We can't talk about that till March.
I know, yeah. It's off limits. You get up and wander about, basically.
So you can actually get up and have a wander on a plane?
Oh, I get up and do stretches and all sorts. Yeah.
Bloody hell.
You've got to do, otherwise sat in one place, you just die.
Yeah, well, this is what I mean. I've been knackered.
It's all about seat selection, If you're a wanderer, if you say you're a wanderer, you get an aisle seat.
Oh, right.
You get your aisle seat and you can just get out your chair at any point. Go for a walk.
I'm not a wanderer, I'm a pisser. So I would be in and out like at least 50 times in a 2-hour journey.
You had a Ryanair flight cost you more in pissing than it would in flight. He wants to charge you for using. No, he wants to charge you for it, but you don't. But he wants to.
We'll find out soon. I got in touch with FESPA and they gave me a call. They wanted to see what I want. What did I want, basically? Basically, I just want to know if I wanted to be an exhibitor or if I was just planning on just having being an attendee. And they said, yeah, they'll email me about some tickets. So, looks like I'm off to Germany.
Awesome.
I had a look, actually. It looks... So, I thought, well, I'm here. I thought, well, do I just come down for a day, go see stuff, and then get me sent back off home? Or do I have another day and have a little walk around and see what there is to do? And I had a look on Google, and how can I describe it? I feel like it's the type of place you'd be into if you were into art galleries.
Mm.
I feel like if that's your thing, it'd be right up your street.
Yeah.
Which I'm not ever too fussed about. It looks very, very posh. Very posh place, Munich.
Yeah. It is, yeah. And it's, I say this over and over again, big cities, they're all morph into one. They become anonymous. And eventually, if you close your eyes and then you open your eyes in a big city, it'd be very difficult to see which one you were in. Right. It's hard to tell. You know, you could be in New York, you could be in Dallas, you could be in Munich, you could be in Berlin, you could be in London. There's only a few sort of like little telltale little signs. But, you know, if you're in London, obviously you're going to get robbed and mugged. If you're in New York, you're going to get shot, you know.
Or eaten by rats.
Yeah, it's the little things that kick it off.
Right, so here's a scenario for you. Somebody comes up to you and says, right, Turney, run to eat it.
Turney, stop it with Turney.
The thing is, you're letting on it's slightly irritating you. So I'm probably going to carry on now.
I know, yeah, it's like anyway, a scab you just keep picking, isn't it?
somebody's gone to Ed. You're only allowed to go on one more holiday, one more foreign destination, rest of your life. Where would you pick?
We should talk about this before we start, you know that, don't you? Then there won't be these awkward silences. Would have to be by sea.
It would, right, all right.
Yeah, it'd have to be by sea. And I think it'd have to be an island. So probably either Cuba or a Caribbean island, Dominican Republic sort of place. Somewhere like that.
See, I've had this thought and this conversation many times.
You've never been anywhere.
Exactly. So I'm coming from the perspective of, if I'm only going to get to travel somewhere once in my entire life, it better be a hell of a culture shock. Might as well make most of it. So I came to the conclusion that I would go to either somewhere super, super snowy or Japan. No. Because Japan, snowy, I can't imagine there's a place that's like more of a culture shock. It's so far removed from anything we're used to.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that would be a superb experience. But difficult if you don't speak the language and can't read the writing. That's my issue.
No. Like if you've only got one choice.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Somewhere to experience, then yeah. I'm going on places I've been, not places I would like to go. There's not many left.
So you're not a snowy place type of person then?
I can't do with snow, no.
I love a snowy holiday.
Next week I'll be in a place up in North America and I've just texted the guy, what's the weather like? It's 18 inches of snow. And it's like minus 10. So yeah, better wrap up. And I've got my budgie smugglers on here, you know what I mean?
Well, this is the thing. You've just been to California, Hawaii, and then you're about to go to the complete opposite. Yeah. But you've got a suitcase. Like, how the hell do you pack for that? It's like, you must have taken 4 suitcases with you.
It's dead simple. 2 Amazon vacuum bags.
Right.
You know the big Amazon vacuum bags are like this big?
Yeah.
One's got
all.
One's got jumpers, a big puffy coat, and a hat and gloves. And the other's got my budgie smugglers in.
Yeah.
That's the only way you can do it.
Wise. So, as it is a screen printing podcast, and you've just been to Impressions, how did you find the experience? Because we had a pre-show chat. We talked about, what you thought was going to happen in the week, and we touched on a little bit. But now that it's all over, did you have fun? Was it good? Did you meet anybody interesting?
It was really good. So when you go to a lot of these, they sort of blur, and it becomes a bit just doing the same old thing again. This one, the last time I did this one was 2020. It's always in January, so January 2020, everything was good in the world. We did the show. It were as bog standard normal. I left here, went to Mexico, and then only in Mexico, sort of February time, coming up to early March, well, mid-February, people started whispering the C word, and it was like, yeah, but it's in China, it won't come over here. Will it happen? Won't it happen? And then, boom, everything closed down. We were supposed to do another one straight from Long Beach, straight to, is that your pound print badge? Straight from, check that out. You're in the club. Earned, but never given.
Earned, right.
Earned,
this is
but
my
never
version of
given.
a certificate.
Yeah, that's yours. Yeah, you're in the club.
Yes, get in.
So we moved. We were supposed to go from there to another impressions show, which was in Atlantic City on the east coast of America. And 2 days before it got closed, the wall came down around America and nobody could come in or out. So, at the time, signed Long Beach, 2020, didn't have a clue what was going to happen. So it never happened in 2021. 2022, it happened, but it was masked and muted. And a lot of people didn't go because it was still a little bit testing the waters. So this one is the first one with no restrictions. Everybody's allowed to move, no masks, unless you want to. And I was really taken aback with the positivity, the mood, the upbeatness of everything. I thought it was awesome. To me, it was like we went from 2020 to 2023. We just skipped.
Skipped it, yeah.
Yeah, we just skipped it like it didn't exist because the attendance, the footfall was huge. There was lots of people there, lots and lots of people. People from England, lots of people from England, lots of people from America, Mexico, Australia. I met 2 guys from Australia.
Oh yeah, bloody hell.
Yeah, so it was a good show. Really, really positive, busy. People were buying as well. It's all very good having these sort of shows, but for a reason.
There to sell
they cost money. We ship a machine there, we ship a dryer there, and there were 35 people working on the stall.
Is that just the stall that you were on?
The stall I was on, yeah.
35 people.
And we only took 1 press. So M&R took 6, Rock took 8, and took over half the hall. There's the exhibition, and then there's a rock show. So
yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
they really go to town, and somebody has to ship those machines, build them, take them down, operate them. And some of the machines have got digital heads on, so they're like $500,000 each. So it's huge investments from these places. It's not just a fashion show. It is a good display of equipment available. Now, the kick in the teeth from this, the downside, because I'm always Johnny Downside, is I didn't see anything new.
No, you said that over there.
I'd love to see new stuff. And I saw this little robot, which I thought,
have like a roller or something.
Yeah, robot arm on a press. I thought, this must be good. It must be handling the fabric or something. And then when I got closer, I'd look, it's just rubbing a roller like that.
Just a rolling pin.
You could just put a Action Engineering do a squeegee. That's a roller. You just put one of them in.
That is an expensive.
Why do you spend 30 grand on a robot that does that all day long? No, and all it was doing
to just put another head on.
Yeah, just put another head with a squeegee on. Yeah, and all it was doing was it was flattening the pre-treat. So it's a digital machine. So it's pre-treat, spraying the pre-treat, flattening it, drying it, printing white, drying it, printing colour. In line on an oval machine. So
so not particularly innovative at all, really.
That sort of concept came about. Oval Jet may have been the first to come up with the concept. So this is getting an oval machine. You've seen the lozenge type machines, the ovals, the long cylindrical ones. Yeah. They seem to be the best ones to stick a digital head on. So you've got M&R digital squeegee. I think the Corny Paradigm was one of the firsts. The Paradigm didn't do very well. Number one, it was like 400 grand. Number two, water-based ink hadn't really come to the forefront. So we were trying to sit it on plastisol. So all it did was spit the CMYK colours out. So you made the base screen, printed it, flashed it, and we dropped CMYK on the top. Nice and simple. The paradigms didn't really work because we were trying to do it on plastisol. And to get it good, we put 2 layers down. 2 base layers of plastisol feels like a bulletproof vest. So it just didn't quite work.
No.
Water base comes along and we realised that actually we can put this CMYK onto wet ink. So we don't dry the base white. Yeah, they don't dry the base white.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Well, think about a digital printer. It spits white base out and then straight away spits the colour on top. There's no drying.
A digital printer?
Like a cornet.
Yeah, but they don't, do they? Digital printers spit onto white substrates.
No, so the digital printer like a Brother GTX or an Epson.
Well, as a white ink?
Direct to garment, yeah. DTG print.
Isn't that cured with UV?
No.
Am I miles off?
Yeah. Have you seen a DTG printer?
Oh, DTG printer? So I'm thinking of like large formats.
No, you're thinking of large format. Direct to garment. So direct to garment sprays a liquid onto the fibres first. This is to give the ink something to sit onto because it won't sit directly onto cotton.
No.
Then it prints the white and then it prints the colour. So in the cornet, or cornete, I think it's cornete, they do it all in one process. So one head sprays this liquid down, then the white, then the colour. Yeah. The others, the dry pre-treatment method, is to apply the liquid to make the ink stick to the garment, then dry that liquid.
All right.
It's a separate process: dry pre-treatment and wet pre-treatment.
Yeah, because the old DTG machines were like separate units, weren't they? At one point,
they're still separate. They're still separate. There's only Cornete put them together because Cornete had the copyright, the license, the intellectual property of applying onto wet pre-treat.
Right.
They sort of safeguarded that. I think it's expired now, but I'd have to see about that. But the rest of the companies got round that by applying onto dry pre-treatment. Yeah. So apply the pre-treatment either in a box. We used to spray it right at the beginning. In a box.
Yeah.
Then take it out and dry it. Either dry it with a heat press or dry it through a tunnel dryer.
Yeah.
Then take that pre-treated shirt and stick it into a machine that applies the white and the colour together.
Yeah.
So we don't apply the white and then flash it.
No, I'm with you.
So it's white and colour together. And the current DTF stuff's doing exactly the same. So when you take that process, let's replace the white, which takes time, with the squeegee and screen, which takes no time. And then while it's still wet, we'll throw the CMYK onto there. So by doing that, we remove all the crappiness that's associated with the white digital ink, and we put it into a screen.
Right. Yeah.
Don't know where we were going there. Were we in Jeddah?
We were talking about holiday destinations, I think.
Yeah.
All right. So
at the show.
Yeah.
That's where we were, at the show.
Nothing particularly outstanding.
New innovations. Didn't see many new innovations, but it was absolutely fantastic to see everybody there in one place and the positivity being high, the footfall being high, and people buying shit. Because a lot of shows, if people just go, there's no point.
No. Well, maybe that's why FESPA gave me a Q&A before they allowed me to have a ticket. I think I had to use the phrase, I'm thinking of buying an auto to confirm my ticket. I'm pretty sure that's what you were calling me for. You were vetting me.
Who were it?
I don't know. English bloke. In the office in English. England. I couldn't tell you. Could not tell you.
So really positive show.
One half at Chippy Tea podcast.
Should have done.
VIP.
Should have done. Absolutely. We're well famous. So on that note, I'm still on the press, and somebody comes up to me and goes, "Are you Chippy Tea?" Hand on heart. So I've got people come up to me and say, "Are you palm print?" Which I'm all right with that. My head's going like that. Whoa, boom, boom. And then somebody comes up to me and goes, "Are you Chippy Tea?"
Was it a solicitor?
It's a guy from Metallica.
Yeah.
So I'm giving him your address.
wonder who that part out here. That's crazy, isn't it? I really got a message earlier on from a guy in Germany. Apparently, we're big in Germany now as well.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
The only place we're not big in is UK.
UK screen printer in here. Well, that's where we're not good.
Yeah. So, did you bump into any screen print celebs that we would call celebs? I don't mean celebs, you know what I mean, but just like
all of them.
Lots. Yeah.
Every single one of them. Yeah. I was going to do a little sort of like montage of videos, getting people to say stuff, but I felt a bit of a dick, so I didn't.
I know. You did well. I actually enjoyed that week. You did well. You got plenty of video content. We put it all out on Instagram. Dave Roper's attempt at saying, I'll see you later, well, I feel like it probably made my month, actually. I'm quite impressed by that.
There were a couple of others as well. I got the MD of Magna Colours.
Yeah.
And his is so bad that I just, out of respect, I just can't. I mean, obviously, Melvin from Magna was the best.
Did you know what? I don't know. I feel like Teresa's were pretty good.
Teresa's were close, yeah.
Were very natural.
That was second take, though. The first take we had to bid.
That was it. Yeah. We'll give it to... We'll send Melvin's trophy in post.
I think Melvin gets the trophy, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But, you know, born where he is, I think he's got a bit of a head start.
Yeah.
He's from Wakey.
Oh, well. Bit of a cheat. So, overall, been a fantastic week. I really enjoyed just your content, but like just everybody on my Instagram seemed to be there, and just it was just constant stories, and like even people in the UK. There were a couple of Monster Press were there, I think, and
Monster Press were there. They came to say hello. There's a lot of people. You know, a lot of the Australian ones, a lot of the US shops, a lot of the sort of like big names that you know from Instagram, sort of like Richard Tilley and kind of Carl, all those people that I speak to on here, but I've never actually met. A bit like you, I speak to online, but never actually met. Yeah.
Well, ironic that first time we meet probably in Germany.
It could be, yeah.
I'm going to turn up to MHM booth, and
you were like a kid in a sweet shop.
Oh, I'll be off my tits, honestly. I'll be absolutely over the moon. Just mind blown by the whole experience, I guess.
You think that M&R had 6 presses on their booth? So imagine how big their booth is.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you're not squash, you can walk round them. So 6 presses and 3 dryers, you know. 3 massive big dryers knocking about. It's bigger than you can possibly imagine.
I wonder how much of impressions is off to Germany.
So the big players
I can't imagine it's as big.
The big players go. Rock are a European company anyway, so they go. M&R, they'd be crazy not to go, but they might only take 4 machines instead of 6.
Yeah.
MHM, it's their stamp.
I won't bother
so
then.
They'll probably have 2. And, you know, the ink players will be there, and then all the others are there as well. So it's a good one. There's 3 in Europe this year that I'll be helping with, and that'll be Textile Tea Visions, which is a one in Stuttgart, Germany. This is one I first went to. It's one of my first European visits to a show back in the day when I were a lad. I bought, what did I buy? Went to go have a look, didn't buy much, and then second time I went, bought a reclaim unit and a thing that cuts embroidery backing. Automatically cuts embroidery backing into pieces.
I've just been speaking to somebody, literally today, who has decided he hates his reclaim unit. With a passion, were his words. I won't drop him in it and see who it was, but he says he wished he never bought it. Don't do it. Don't do the usual. Don't come up with some sort of hint that basically says exactly what it is. That would be.
I think he's in Wales.
That would be supremely upsetting if you did that.
You see, I were Wales. It could have been anybody in Wales.
Oh, God.
And this is the thing. This is the thing with those machines. because I went through it. Went through exactly the same thing. You buy it, and it's the best decision you ever made.
You feel like it, yeah, I guess at the time.
For a month.
Yeah.
And after a month, you feel like you've just spent 70 grand on a jet wash.
Yeah.
And I'm passionate about why. Why is that? And it's really, I think it's in the whole design concept. I honestly do. Everyone I've seen, and they all say they come out ready to coat. And yes, they do, but only for a month. If you don't throw another £1,000 worth of chemicals in there every month, then it doesn't come out ready to coat. When you think about what you're spending on chemicals plus what you've spent on the actual machine itself, that's when you start to question your judgment a little bit, and you go,
"Yeah,
you know what? I don't think I made the right choice here. This might not have been a good idea," because it's sort of like, hang on, what did I do? Why did I spend that money?
Yeah. Well, he was saying he's spending more. He's saying he's ended up with just washing them out in wash-out booth anyway instead. That's crackers, isn't it? That the price, the amount of money to just wash them at wash-out booth.
So I'll say that I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything good, but I did see. I tell you what, I did see a very small, compact, which usually means cheap, wash-out booth. Sealed, automated.
Was this blue water?
No. Did look at them. Again, I'm of the opinion that it's the same thing, it's just made of plastic instead of aluminium. Aluminum. But no, I don't think it's any... they've got these chambers with things, and I'm just thinking, hang on. Let's stick to dip tank, which we know works, right? You put in the dip tank, full of reclaimed crap, swamp monster. You bring it out and you blast it with just clean water. Yeah?
Yeah.
So how about just having an automatic blaster with clean water?
Yeah.
Little small unit, put it in, pull it out. Now, I've seen these units bigger than your shop.
Yeah.
With multiple dip tanks, where you take out one, put it in the other, take it out of the one, put it in the other. And then you put it into a cabinet, a chamber. You seal the chamber like you're closing guys into a submarine. And then it blasts the hell out of it for about 8 minutes. And they come out and they're still dirty. And what I saw at the show was the compact version of this. So it's only the size of a screen.
All right.
So imagine the unit itself is just about 4 inch bigger than a screen.
Yeah.
And it goes into this unit, it stops the belt, and it just goes and blasts the bitch out of it. But then no overspray, no contaminant, no wet floor, and then it comes out ready to go again. So this would never use any chemicals.
I guess the idea behind that is you're inserting it into your process rather than trying to replace the entire process. You're using it to aid. So maybe you'll do the ink removing process and then that blasts for, I don't know, the emulsion or whatever.
And I'd love to recommend these units, but you see them and they work and you walk away. But you want to see it for a month.
Yeah, it's one of those where you kind of need to experience it, don't you? You need to test run it. Maybe these companies should offer test runs. Yeah,
put it in. And if you still like it after a month, keep it. And if you don't, we'll take it out.
You know when you buy a mattress and they say if you don't like it in 6 months, we'll give you your money back.
Same sort of thing, yeah. Very similar sort of thing.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, so...
Oh, they're professional. Just walk off and walk back on.
I know, yeah. Just looking outside. For people on Spotify, nobody noticed. I think it's something we've got to look at and address. And I wish I had the problem, because I wish I had the solution. I bought one from Lotus Holland, and I honestly thought it was the best thing I'd ever bought. I thought this has stopped any chemicals being exposed to my operators. It's given me a predictable output, and the results are ready to coat. And that phrase there, that's the killer. I want to put a dirty screen in at this end, and I want it to come out ready to coat. And I was speaking to Danny Gooniger, who I was working with all week from Denver Print House, and he said he put a unit into Liquid Graphics, which is a massive shop in California. And he said he got that. He built it himself using lots of different processors, but he got it to the point where every screen came out ready to cut. But that's probably all his expertise for 12 months on site with an unlimited budget.
Yeah.
So it's possible, it's there. It's just that, can we buy something off the shelf and say, right, use this? Now, I know what unit you're talking about, and that's one of the best units in the world. But it's the 3-chamber.
Yeah.
There's the 5-chamber. That's the best way to do it, 5 chambers. And one of those chambers does nothing, but you still pay for it. So one of those chambers... It's only
just water.
No, it's got nothing in it. It's an empty chamber.
Nothing at all.
No, its only job is pause.
To allow it to drip? Just to get rid of it?
Just to allow it to drip, so to stop that cross-contamination. That 5th chamber that you pay for that does nothing means the chemicals in these first 2 they stay strong for longer.
Yeah.
So the whole deal in a
contamination.
nutshell. No, the whole deal in a nutshell. 5-chamber, spend less on chemicals. 3-chamber, spend more on chemicals. 5-chamber, 6 figures. 3-chamber, 5 figures. So
how much
spend less on chemicals.
Yeah.
So when I looked at the difference between 3 and a 5, as a purchaser buying them, I went, well, okay, how much more in chemicals? And it was maybe like 10 to 15%. Well, all right then, because I would have to have it for 10 years to get the ROI, if you like, the return on investment. And so, all right, I'll swallow the more per year on chemicals. And that, bless him, friends who sells the Lotus Holland and makes them, he did all the calculations for me, including the water consumption, how much chemical it would use, and he was spot on per screen. We had it broken down per screen, and it worked, you know. And I could see before I bought it that I would be spending, you know, an extra 12 grand a year on chemicals. But based on the difference in price between the little unit and the big unit, for me, it was worth it. Until 6 months in, I have to spend another £1,000 every month on chemicals, and all of a sudden the MD's going, I thought this machine was going to be cheaper than 2 guys. No. Did we lose a guy? No, we've still got a guy. So we've still got a guy, and we're spending an extra 12 grand on chemicals. Yeah, sort of. Is this a good move, Tony? Yeah, honest. So I feel his pain. Hi, Alex.
Are we just coming to the conclusion that there's no easy solution to the screen room? You're just going to have to stand there with a power wash.
No, we're coming to conclusion. What we're doing is we're coming to conclusion that engineers are making these machines, not screen printers.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
That's the issue. The engineers have stuck to this method that they think works. And it's worked in the high end of screen printing, where the ink is very, very thin. It's usually washed beforehand, and it's of an exact type. Or the mesh counts are really high, so like the lowest will be 140. So the actual quantity of gunk that we have to remove is really small.
Yeah.
Now we step down to the T-shirt printers. Remember that we are the poor relation, the poor cousin in the family, the one that doesn't get invited to the weddings. That one. And we have these low mesh counts which are soaked with 2 and 1 coats of emulsion. So they've already got shitloads of emulsion on there. Then we throw plastisol, sticky, high solid, nasty plastisol on there. We've got people who don't tape them off. We tape out in willy-nilly on the inside, and then we don't remove the tape. So we've got all this crap to deal with, and we're expecting the finesse machine to cope with it.
Yeah.
And plus, have you got a dishwasher at home? Don't say me, mum.
Yeah.
So, well, I've had a dishwasher for years, and I've got kids as well.
Yeah.
If my kids load the dishwasher, I feel like I'm going to sound like John.
Oh, it drives me chuffing, Lee, I tell you. Putting mucky dishes in.
If my kids
get them buggers rinsed off first.
If my kids loads the dishwasher,
I know exactly where you're going.
Then I have to put them on again. when they come out.
Yeah.
If I load it, it goes on once. And it's the same with the screen washer. If you just throw them straight off the press without carding, without a bit of a pre-rinse, without a bit of a wash, then they're not going to come out perfect, or they're going to need to go through again.
Yeah, so some of it comes down to a little bit of a human
preparation.
Just not preparing, not carding screens off, not getting the bulk off.
So I put a dip tank at the beginning of mine.
You did, right? And what was that? Was that to soften? What was that to soften?
So they go in the dip tank, and then they go through the whole process. Didn't work. The chemical from the dip tank ate the chemical in the first.
Interacted.
So far, what I've found is it's all about the chemicals, and it's all about getting two chemicals that work together. And massive shout out to our friends at Pyramid. Dean Smith is the absolute guru at finding the chemicals that work perfectly in these machines for your type of workflow. So far, I don't think he's failed at any, unless it's one of his first ones. But he does find two chemicals that work really well together and don't eat each other as much. Shout out to them. They've been doing some really good work.
I wonder if anybody has ever considered turning a dip tank into a hot tub. Now, I don't mean for you personally, but I just mean like a bubbling dip tank. Do you know what I mean? A warm, bubbling dip tank. So you're putting your chemicals into something that's just to speed process up. I bet it'd look that.
My idea of a perfect machine, right? If I had any sort of degree in making machinery, mine would be to grab the screen at the top, move it across, dip it into a dip tank, keep it moving, so it's in the dip tank for exactly 60 seconds. Then it comes out and it gets blasted to death with high pressure, and then it gets blasted again with another high pressure. So for me, that would be the best way to do it. But all the engineers are going, no, we've got to spray this. We can't spray that. So they want to spray solvent onto these screens to get the ink off. Now, that's your first problem. You're not allowed to spray solvent because of its combustibility, explosion risk. So how do we get round that? Okay, we get round that by applying it at low pressure with an air pump. So straight away, we've compromised straight away. Instead of spraying high pressure solvent to loosen the ink, we're just weeing on it. It's just a really soft trickle. Why is it a trickle? Is that best for the screen? No, that fits the European directive that says we can't spray and make a mist of explosive or volatile chemicals. So the solution is to just a trickle, which covers it, which is supposed to act like a dip tank. The truth is, it doesn't give enough exposure to the stuff.
No.
And the key would be, put more nozzles in, and that's expensive. So people don't do that. So there's one row of nozzles which just wheeze out this chemical, and that's supposed to give it enough exposure to chemical. Now the Lotus and a couple more have started to introduce brushes, nylon brushes, to agitate the chemical.
Yeah, I've seen them, yeah.
So this is to agitate the chemical. This is the same as you going with a brush like that. But again, it's not specific to a stain. When you're washing the screen, you go, I'll wash that bit a little bit more. And the brushes usually go like this. Yeah. And they can't have any force because then they burst the screens.
Yeah.
So again, if it was me and you had to brush them, then we would find a brush that worked in a circular motion that was limited to the size of the screen. But mechanically minding, I don't know how you do that. And then high pressure wash, I spoke to the guys at Impro that make a machine, and he was willing to work with me and put another unit on the end for high pressure wash. So 2 high pressure washers, because the first one blasts off the crap that you've loosened. So by rights, it's in the air, it's flowing around and it splashes back onto the screen. And then your fourth one, I think it should be a 4 chambers. Your fourth chamber should be blasting off the crap that the first one missed.
Just in little bits, of residue.
You probably off the tangent then. I did while we're on sort of screens. And
I've not spoke for about 15 minutes. Who went off on a tangent?
as did I did. Calm down. Kevin Kouth, who is the Chromaline guy, the emulsion guru.
Oh, emulsion guru, yeah.
Got hold of him.
Bumped into him.
Got hold of him, and I know him, and I said to him, look, I need to up my skill on emulsion. It's part of one of my resolutions that we did. He's up at my skill on resolution, and he's well up for doing a little guest spot on here with me and you.
Oh, wow, cool.
And I think we should get some emulsion questions.
I didn't know this.
And have a little sort of 10 minutes where we just throw some stuff around as to why is my emulsion shit?
Yeah.
What's the best sort of, and I think it's something we can sort of like work on and have a look at and say, yeah, actually, I think everywhere I go, everybody's got a problem with emulsion.
Yeah, I think it's almost universally, and it's not always the same problem.
No.
But as anybody, if anybody's really honest and you're listening, have you cracked emulsion? Probably not. It's probably something that just bugs you.
Why are there 100 of them? Why are there 100 different emulsions?
Yeah. That'd be very interesting. So maybe if you're listening and you've got emulsion questions, maybe pop them to Chippy Tea Official at Instagram.
Now we've only got our own channel. Yeah.
Now that we've got our own channel, which has just reached like 120 followers. Now I did say 100 by end of January. Pissed that one. 20 extra.
Well done, you.
Your wife's following us as well.
Yeah. I think she might be in the hundreds, or Sarah. I think Sarah said she might be in the hundreds. Yeah.
Oh no, I think was it Sarah? It could quite possibly have been Sarah. Actually, I think it was.
She gets a little palm pin in the post. Yeah.
Oh, if it was that easy, I wouldn't have been proud of one I've got. I don't know. So remember we had a conversation about you went to a shop and we were using stochastic halftones, and we're getting 80 LPI.
Yeah.
And they were doing it on a Starlight just like me. Yeah. And they were... What else were they? Oh, they were using the same film printer as me.
Yeah.
That's eating at me. Not going to lie. It's eating at me. And so I've had a job come in, and it's a sim process. It's a photograph of a bloke's face eating a banana. Don't ask me why, it just is. Why are you looking at you? What, she's trying to get your attention? Just catching the corner of your eye going...
Fucking in trouble.
Are you pushing the limit? Are you over your time limit?
No, not yet.
Start to wrap it up.
No. Right. So, guy eating a banana.
I've got in touch with John. John's going to step it for me. And I said, right, how far can we bump up the LPI just to challenge myself? And we're talking about what we're saying. I think it was 60 LPI. We're going to have a go at 60 LPI. Okay. Which actually doesn't seem that ambitious. To
it's all about mesh.
90s.
Okay,
I was hoping we could go a bit more ambitious. I saw a picture,
65 used to be the standard.
Yeah, well, I'm sure I've seen it. I might even have accidentally tried to print something at 65 in the past. I'm sure I have. So I saw this as well. Have I saved it? Yeah. I don't know if you can see it. So you know the shirt scientist?
No, but I've seen a lot of him lately. Who is it?
He does a lot of Magna. I think he does a lot of Magna. Really impressive bloke. Oh,
who is it?
Anyway, I don't know. You see that?
Yeah.
So that's a screen print, and I'm reading it, and it's. Oh shit! I've not saved a comment. Oh yeah, I've saved a comment. 95 LPI, using an image setter, printed on a manual. So that doubles up my ambition to challenge myself because it can be done on a manual. Now, I ain't got an image setter. So, yeah, my job, my show and tell next week is potentially...
You can get the films printed for you on an image setter.
Oh, now I've never thought of that. So
you can ask a bureau. I think Exile, who make the Spider, their original business was Oyo image setters. So they originally started with selling the image setters. So I'm sure that they'd be able to help you actually output the films. Don't forget, back in the day, that's what we used to do. We would
just
send the art to Flying Colours or somebody, and they would post you the films once they'd output them on their image setter.
That's a really interesting thought. Now let's go down the thought path of you want to really, really push quality, and you want to get high LPI, maybe outsourcing your films by someone who does it
once.
Maybe that's not a bad idea.
To see what you get. I know someone who spent 50 grand on a spider and is considering going back to film because the dot is just not achievable with this sort of mass production thing, and they want to go back to the high quality stuff. The place where I was,
but they're going back to film, aren't they? Why are we not seeing image setters? Are image setters super expensive?
Expensive, and they use a lot of heat. Yeah. So when they use a lot of heat, there's a chance of warping. And yes, they are expensive.
All right.
The inkjet would do as good a job for a tenth of the money.
Yeah. All right.
Image setters were the thing at one point. Image setters were the thing, but the computers have got better. Everything else has got better. How are we doing for time?
Yeah. How are we doing? We're on 1 hour 20. Want to wrap it up?
No.
I might go for a wee.
You go for a wee.
What are you doing? Rearranging furniture? Yeah. I'll go for a wee and then I'll see what you're playing at. Oh, wow, I can hear birds. I need to see. Oh, look at that. You jammy get.
Yeah.
Oh, as if you've not done that from the start. We'll have to start again. Episode 31, Chippy Tea Podcast.
It would have to start.
Oh, honestly, you have dropped a rate bollock. Can you imagine sunset in the background?
Sunrising.
Sun rising, you know what I mean. I believe you waited all this an hour and 20 minutes in to do that. Gee, chuffing Nora. Right, where were we, Tony?
We were on about dots and image setters and how big and small we can go.
Yeah, so I'm going to try to push the limits of that and see what I can get away with.
There's a truck reversing in the background now.
Can hear it, bin man. Can you hear birds and everything?
Yeah.
How posh.
Oh, yeah, it's nice.
Wow.
Is it to wake up to?
It's not bad that at all.
No.
Bloody lovely.
Is that that's where the surfing.
Oh. It's not great, but bloody lovely. Yeah. So what's your plan for today, Tony? What are you going to do? Nice. Just chill?
Yeah, I'm learning flying flop, guys. I want to go somewhere. I don't want to go see art museums. I want to go sit on beach, drink colours, and just do nothing.
Yeah, well, that's what you're going on holiday for, isn't it? Just to switch off and do a podcast.
I travel all over, so actually just going and doing that is good for me.
Yeah.
I think it's important to switch off every now and again. And get away from it. And it's advice I give to you all the time. You don't listen to.
I never listen to. Bring your microphone a bit closer.
The advice I give you is basically to switch off, get out of that shop for a bit, and go see the real world. I know. I'm terrible. I'm really bad at it. Don't go into Primark and start looking at old prints and going, I could do that.
Can't help it, can you? It's some of it I'm utterly abysmal at. Absolutely abysmal.
Yeah,
now,
you need to do more.
Yeah. It's so counterproductive as well. Like, I've burnt myself out so many occasions. You'd think I'd have learnt that lesson, but I never do.
Slow learner.
I am slow learner. Oh, 100%. 100% a slow learner. Oh yeah, I found a new website which I thought might be quite useful for our listeners, because I got this website. It's actually free as well. Normally you find these really cool, useful softwares, and then you find out you've got to pay so much a month. But this particular website called Miro.com, M-I-R-O. Is it Miro? Yeah, Miro.com. It's basically it's a whiteboard. It's a big whiteboard, and on this whiteboard you've got all your tools. So you can put sticky notes on, you can draw on it, you can type your text in it, you can drag and drop images onto it. You can put videos, and you can just like annotate and leave little notes on this massive whiteboard. Are you sat in an aviary? They're going crackers.
Can you?
Yeah.
There's a couple of Stevens coming for a visit.
You can't get rid of a bugger, can you? When you've lived here for a while, it'll drown out though, you'll just stop hearing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a thought. Cool little website.
Whiteboard, and what do you do with it? How do you work it?
Literally, so on my big massive monitor that I've got here, I've got two tabs always open. I've got Monday.com, which is obviously all my job orders and all my planning and stuff. Next tab along is my whiteboard. It's a big, literally a massive whiteboard. And so, I don't know, let's just say I'm got a little idea in my head. Normally what happens is I think about that idea and it just gets lost. Or I write it down on a book somewhere, which ends up in a drawer, and then I never go back to it. But now I've got this big interactive, visual, colourful whiteboard, which I can write on.
Like a mood board where you manifest your stuff.
It is. It's like a massive mood board. It's so good. But it's on your phone as well. So if I'm driving to my birds in Hull, I have got a bird. Shut up. Don't laugh. I know. I saw that on your face.
Never said that.
I guarantee 9 times out of 10 times, I'll be driving to Hull and I'll have an idea or I'll fix a problem in my head. Guarantee it. But by the time I've parked up, I'll forgot. Or the next day comes around and whatever it will just be gone, it'll be lost. But I can get it on my phone, so now I can pull over, just quickly add it on. And then when I get back in the morning, my big whiteboard, I can like elaborate on it. But it's just perfect little tool. Really handy
like a little
tool.
scribble pad, almost like a scribble pad.
Yeah. An online scribble pad, which you can have on your computer, you can have on your iPad, you can have on your phone. It's free. It's cool. Very cool. So that was my little tip of the day.
Top tip of the day, yeah.
Top tip of the day.
I ain't got any top tips.
You haven't got any top tips?
I don't think so.
It's not ideal, is it? It's a consultant.
No,
Probably should have a few at least.
But I've got loads, we got to pay for them.
Well played.
At ISS, it was good to have I did a little shop talk with In Kitchen. And
nice.
it was with...
They've not posted that up, have they?
Not yet. Eric Solomon from Night Owls, his wife Val, who does all the mixing of the colours and is the proper sort of gets her head inside the colours and the chemistry.
Yeah.
And Danny Gruniger from Denver Print House.
Yeah.
It was a water-based tips and tricks. So it was all about how to get the best out of the water-based that you're doing, and how to make the transition, water-based to plastisol, and how to plastisol to water-based, how to treat water-based. I think one of the top tips that was sort of like Danny mentioned was treat it like food.
Treat it like food.
Treat it like food. So, you know, you get a jar of mayonnaise. This was his exact.
Put your lid back on it.
Put your lid back on it. That crusty stuff, you won't let it fall back in. You'd wipe it off and get rid of it. So treat it like food. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was such a. I like that.
Yeah, that's good. That one. I like that. That's a good one. It's funny because I keep getting asked more and more. I'm getting people messaging me about printing Aquaflex as a base to plastisol. I feel like I've shot myself a bit in foot really because I'm getting messaged all the time now, and I'm happy enough to answer.
You've opened a can of worms here, haven't you?
I've opened a can of worms, and it is not technically advised by Magna, so
there you go.
Don't sue me.
There's your copyright. There's your disclaimer right at the end.
There's my disclaimer.
I used you as an example to use Joel from PSI Screen Print, which is in Australia, and he's sort of like, you know, what can I do? Can I do this? Can I do that? And I'm like, Danny, he's printing Aquaflex B2 white and dropping the plastisol on top and getting really, really good results. And, you know, he's passing the wash test, it's longevity's good. So, you know, all these things are really, really good. And so I passed your tips on to him. It's like, what do you mean kill a base? No. We skip that. stage. Which
Yeah.
Back and flicks.
Well, when I started, killer bass wasn't even around. That one developed. I don't know if I had a. I'm sure I didn't. It was probably a bit big-headed of me to think, but I remember talking about when I went to Magna Academy how I was doing this. I was printing water-based Aquaflex and putting plastisol on top. And I think there was in this process of talking about developing something for that there and then at the time. And then, I don't know, maybe a year or two later, Killer Bass came out. So maybe they at least saw what I was doing and thought, oh, well, maybe there's a market there. Maybe there's a market for making it a stepping stone for people wanting to get into water base but don't want to go full-blown towards it yet.
Oh, there definitely is.
Yeah. So I had another idea. I've got another top tip. Now, this one, I've half nicked this off of you. But do you know when we're haze removing, stain removing, and we use this magic sponge? I had this idea, really original idea, of using a chamois leather. Now, I know what you're thinking. You've heard of this before somewhere.
Somewhere, yeah.
I don't know where.
I think I've seen it online. So really,
but that was for washing. That was for washing the ink out. Actually, it's quite abrasive. And using your stain remover on it works really well because the magic sponges work well because it's I guess it's abrasive on a micro level. Yeah. The chamois leather's worked really well as well. Actually, I'm quite impressed with that, and it's reusable.
Yeah,
and you can power wash it off, clean it, and then. So yeah, that's my new little new go-to.
Chamois leathers,
an upgrade from.
I think we should sell flipping sweet chamois leathers.
Oh yeah, I'll put a little woven tag on them.
Yeah. Some Chippy Tea ones.
You're in Hawaii, you're having a chill, you're switching off, you're not thinking about screen print for at least a week. And then you're heading somewhere snowy. You off to another shop?
So my next month is spent in America. So I'll be here all of February. So that means that I will be visiting as many shops as possible, trying to get as many visits in as possible. I've got about 4 or 5 booked in at the minute, which are all North America, which at the minute is under snow. So I'm enjoying the heat and the sunshine while I can.
Well, you can,
I've got my puffer coat and my gloves and my boots ready to go again in the snow. But yeah,
God.
It'll be a good month.
And do you think we've got a lot of shitty jobs lined up for you?
Every one of them, without a doubt.
Guaranteed.
Without a doubt. 2 of them are repeats as well, so 2 of them I've been to before. And if I can get to an install, even better, because that's good. When you get to an install, it's all like a bit frightened of the press, frightened of the machine. What will it do? And then you show them what it does, and you go, wow, that's easy to do. They're easier to work with. Yeah,
because you've almost got a clean slate. You're not teaching somebody
You're not unteaching
old habits.
Somebody. You're not breaking them down.
Yeah. Done an hour and a half.
We'll wrap it up there.
Wrap up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up there. No, I think we've pretty much covered everything. The show was a good show, a successful show. It was great to catch up with lots of other people from England, from people from here that I speak to online but don't get a chance to meet. It's nice to see that Chippy Tea's made it all the way across here. So yeah, I can't remember the guy's name. I wish I could remember his name. Louis somebody.
Do you know what shop it was from?
No, I can't remember.
I want to find him on Instagram.
Yeah,
I want to look for all of his followers until I find him.
Yeah. So I think there we will wrap it up. That the show was good. We're having a bit of a break. Danny's still freezing his nips off with 17 layers of clothes on. He's still not taking that screen down off that press. It's been there for 3 weeks now.
That is a different screen.
But we've had a fantastic catch-up. And thanks for joining us, your opportunity to eavesdrop and catch up with us. And we will do exactly the same thing again next week. So all that remains to be said is...
I'll see you next week. I'll see you.
I'll see you.
I'm going to do an impression of Dave Roper's version.
Go on, do it.
It'd be borderline racist, I think, if I tried it. probably offend somebody. So, it wasn't very good, let's just say that.
Oh, poor Dave. He is a brummie, though, to be fair. He has got like a burning accent, so we can hold that against him.
Yeah.
Right
then.
So we'll sign off.
Everybody.
Yeah, and don't forget, if you like what you hear, give us a like, give us a follow, tell your friends, tell your mum, take pictures, send them in, comment. It all helps with the great algorithm in the sky. And we want to just keep going and keep doing what we do. So, I'll see you.
See you there.
Friday night, I'm within me rights. I want a Chippy Tea.